how this goes. Oh, shit. Well, Pigpen says we got one person watching. You are hungry, huh? One watching, nobody's saying nothing, bud. But I guess that's a start. Two people watching. Hello, fuckers. Whoever you are. They ain't helping. There's a couple more there, dude. There you go. Didn't want that one? You weren't sure. He wasn't sure. Well, whoever's watching, if you don't know, this is Pigpen, my Oscar. All right. Didn't fuck it up. Not too bad, anyway. Okay. Well, we're down to one fish. Just one person watching, dude. Yo, Rocky, what's up, brother? Munchichi, what's up, man? I don't know where everybody is. I'm here. The fish is here. You guys are here. That's good enough. Fucking Blue suggested I do the Streamyard thing, so I figured I'd give it a shot. I mean, it can't be that hard. Pac does it. Oh, you waiting for some mealworms? Never happy with just the pellets. Here. Damn. No, you don't want to. Okay, maybe you do. Yeah, I'm not trying to pawn the shrimp off. I know you don't like them. No? You're going to make me clean it out. Nope, cool. So, how's everybody's Sunday? I'm just fucking around at the house. My boy went home. Back to his mother's, anyway. There we go. Oh, shit balls. I sat here one day and watched my neighbor, drunk as a motherfucker, try to unload this big ass fucking Cub Cadet lawn tractor. Like it was big. It had the weights on the back tires. It had a plow, a couple other fucking attachments, but he's backing this thing off his truck. And I'm watching his buddy watch the fucking the ramps sliding. And he hits the brake and they slide right out. He ends up flat on his fucking back, keeping this lawnmower from rolling over on top of him with just the strength of his legs. But he was yelling. Oh man, I wish I was fucking filming that. Yeah, we had one too, man. Fucking, we used to pull fucking like 10-foot logs out of the woods with that motherfucker. Use it like a skidder with the weights on the wheels and chains. But yeah, ours was like, I don't know, like an 18 or 20 horse motor. It was a big fucking lawn tractor. My uncle had one with a fucking PTO. That was a big lawn tractor too. It looked literally like a miniature fucking farm tractor. The old guy didn't hurt himself though when the thing went over. He's probably sore the next morning, but Yeah. Yep. Fucking my uncle got fucking wasted and was doing something. I forget what it was, but he ended up blowing the fucking motor on that thing. And then my grandfather just said, "Fuck it, you guys can carry the fucking logs out of the woods now." But yeah, that was a badass tractor. It was kind of ridiculous that we even had it. We didn't have enough lawn to use it to mow with. So I'm looking at this big lawnmower tractor. It's got a 4-foot deck or something. We don't use. It's never on it. I'm push mowing the fucking lawn. Backyard was mostly gravel anyway. It was a fucking wood lot. So it was just the side of the house, a little bit of backyard, and the front yard I had to mow. We had it just for dragging the fucking logs around. Yeah, bartering, man. We got a lot of shit for bartering when I was a kid. You know, fucking uncles, grandpa, everybody trading shit amongst friends. Fuck. I probably had every badass kind of BMX you could have had in the late 80s, early 90s. And just because we traded, you know, fuck, shit, man. Up until about, well, when I was doing tile, there was a lot of times where we would fucking use the barter system. If we needed something and somebody had it and we knew they needed work, be it, well, I was doing painting and tile installation, but cabinets, the fucking toilet replaced, you know, bathroom remodeled, we would work out a deal. Fucking shit. My boss took a job for a fucking boat. Did a small bathroom for this big fucking generator. But fuck, man, I made cuts. I cut a whole bunch of, the guy laid fucking tile for his mom, the tattoo artist across the street from my house. And he just laid all the full pieces and then cleaned up the empty spaces where the intricate cuts go, because he had a slide cutter. So anything he needed a wet saw for, he came across the street, talked to me. I put my wet saw up and fucking made, I don't know, like 30 cuts for the corners of the cabinets and just stupid shit that he couldn't make himself. And I got a fucking free tattoo out of it. But yeah, the barter system is good. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Trade is nice, man. I always like that. Shit, I've traded work for expensive pool cues that people weren't using anymore. Put in a fucking 4 or 5 hours stacking hay in a fucking in the hay loft or whatever. But yeah, I've done a lot of barter. Barter's good. Shit, my uncle's got a whole shed full of stuff just in case somebody comes over with something he might need. Just, hey, I'll trade you that for this. But a bunch of shit he don't use, it's all good shit. But he's a mechanic, woodworking tools, stupid odds and ends shit. But it's all stuff that he's traded off for work or gotten for work. Oh, hell yeah. Shit, man. One of the fastest fucking cars the kids drag raced at my school was an old like 1969 or 70 fucking Chevy station wagon, but it had a 454 in it though. Dude was smoking Mustangs and fucking Camaros with a big ass station wagon. Yeah, it was fucking hilarious. But then some kid got a 65 Mustang body that was in good shape, had a lot of surface rust. So he spent the fucking first month that he had it just prepping the body, getting all the rust sanded down. He primered that fucker, and then he spent every cent he had on internals. So he put a good engine, fast engine and transmission and beefier rear end and shit in it. And then he started blowing everybody's doors off with a car that looked like it came right from the junkyard, pretty much. He fucking used like two or three different, two different colors. He had gray primer and he had the standard like red maroon color, but he he used it wherever the fuck he ran out of the other color, so it looked pretty shitty. But fucking hell was that car fast. Remember this one gearhead in I think it was math class. He was bitching because he couldn't fucking catch him with his Nova. But I'm like, dude, it's a Mustang. It's half the fucking size of that Nova, dude. The dude with the station wagon still gave him a run, but that guy had the sleeper is right, man. That thing looked like shit. He had two Kragers he had on the back. I don't know what the front rim, the rims on the front were, but it looked hodgepodge, but it ran. It ran fast too, yeah. Some other kid, his dad gave him it was like a 73 Challenger. It was stock. It was beautiful. He got it for graduating high school, and then he gave it to his kid his senior year. I mean, it was a quick car, but he didn't put nothing into it, and he couldn't shift gears very good, so he got humiliated in a pretty badass car. But yeah, that fucking bright lime green, it was a nice fucking car. A douchey kid, too. It kind of sucked. Fuck, I got a buddy him and his sister were debating who gets I think it's a 68 Corvette his dad's got in the fucking in the garage, but old boy's still alive and they're both 50. Well, she's a little older, but I hope he sells the car. Yeah, I don't know, man. He threw what he had on it, I think, Monchichi. But my uncle has had the same set of Kragers since they were fucking new. I know he bought them in probably the late 70s. But my whole life he's had them same rims. Whether they're on something or not, he still has those fuckers, and they're shiny like he bought them yesterday. I don't know if he's holding on to them until they're like real fucking rare or something, or it's just, sentimental value. But they've been on a few cool fucking cars. A truck or two, yeah. Ow, fucking low ceiling. God damn. We gotta take it easy on that pen. Nice. Yeah. It's weird nowadays. Everybody wants a huge fucking rim and a skinny tire, and shit just looks like a fucking, I don't know, toy. That's weird to me. On trucks, especially, they jack them all up and then put low profile tires on there. You fucking got a flat tire if you hit the curb, dude. I've seen that at Walmart. That was awesome. A couple different times. One was a tweaker and like a fucking Chevy Celebrity turned too quick and hit the curb in the parking lot and popped both passenger side tires. Just went right up and over the whole little median thing. And the other one was some kid in a big old Dodge truck, jacked up with the big shiny rims and the fucking low profile tires on there. I bet his parents were giving him shit. He didn't look old enough to be living on his own yet. Yeah, hell yeah. Trucks too. Trucks piss me off lately. They don't look like trucks anymore. They haven't for a long time, but like I miss the old square body trucks. Like every truck when I was a kid was a square body truck in one form or another. There's a guy, probably not 5 minutes drive from me. He's got it's a late 40s. I'm not sure what year, but it's a Dodge Power Wagon with fucking the winch on the front, big heavy duty bumpers. But it looked like it rolled right out of the late 40s. Like it's period correct looking. It's pretty badass. Yeah, yep. Like, that's just it. They look like a fucking truck is supposed to look. But shit, I remember getting in. Fuck, it was like a 20 fucking, I don't know, 19 or 2020 Silverado with all the bells and whistles, and I'm like, Jesus, this is supposed to be a fucking truck, man. Climate control, everything. Like what the fuck? I don't even think you can get crank windows unless you get one of them, really cheap fucking cars where they mail it to you. You got to put the engine in and put the doors on or something. But yeah, all the cool little features like that little angle window to let the air fucking blow in. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of fucking plastic too. Like, I remember when you could hook to someone's bumper, as long as they weren't too fucking stuck, you had a steel bumper that was bolted to the fucking frame of the car. You could pull a car out by the bumper. Now they're tearing fucking the whole rear fucking bumper assembly off, or the front end, which is great. It makes for good fucking social media content, I guess. But or where you see the ones where a pack of dogs come up and chew the front end off a fucking car. You couldn't do that shit 40 years ago. Yep. You got a big old pile of plastic and a little bitty load of metal. Yep. I knew a guy who used to scrap with like a fucking like a Lincoln Town car. Mid 80s Lincoln Town car. he would drive around with fucking, you'd see him, he'd have a moving blanket or two in the back seat with a transmission, a couple of old radiators, all kinds of different scrap shit he picked up on his fucking drive around that day. But I'm like, dude, you do this all the time. You should know you should just drive the truck every day. Well, no, man. We went to the diner for breakfast with my wife and kids, and somebody had this other shit in their truck, and I didn't have the truck. I wasn't running home to get it. All right. It's your Lincoln, bro. I don't give a fuck. But dedicated, yeah, he had a fucking flatbed, and he had a pickup truck, which I would have not taken the Lincoln myself. Have the wife drive the Lincoln. Yeah, yeah. I know a guy that's been making a decent living doing that shit for like the last, 25 years I've known him, but he's been doing it a lot longer than that. But yeah, he got a little fucking junkyard / scrapyard at the house. It's basically like a little way station. It comes there to be broken down and stored a little bit, if it's something he can use or something that he could get rid of. And then he'll take, when he gets a big enough load of scrap, he'll take that and then, just make what he can on it. But yeah, he does pretty good. But like, that's all he does. He spends his whole fucking day like looking for shit and trucking it around. But yeah, he fills that need. He's always got something. He's got a couple old school buses with the seats ripped out and some shelves with like full size school buses. They don't run or nothing. The engines are fucking gone, and any other parts that would make them move. But there's storage on wheels. He could tow them around. The steering still works, and he can tow them around if he needs to move them. But yeah, he's always got the part if you can't find it somewhere else, like at a pick and pull or whatever. Fucking Terry's always got it. But yeah, dude does pretty good. Always got a decent truck. Fucking got a nice house. The yard looks like shit, I'm not gonna lie. But the house is a nice house. I was at my uncle's helping him build basically a fucking miniature pole barn, like a little lean-to off the back of his shed. And like it was a fairly good sized one. So he could put some stuff in out of the rain and shit. And we kept getting a whiff. And then a semi truck went by, and he's a good, I don't know, 150, 200 feet from the road at his shed. And it hit me and him both in the face like a brick. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And we went and walked out to the road, and there was like probably 150-pound doe that got hit, I don't know, a week before. And I mean, it's early September when we found this thing, but she was good and right. So him and I took it upon ourselves to get his bucket tractor and get that fucking thing in there and go. You know, we called the farmer that owned the field next to him, and he said, "Yeah, there was already a hole where he was burying a fucking cow or something he had that died, and he was just going to put it in the hole." He's like, "You can just throw it in there too." So yeah, we just drove it up there and dumped it into the fucking hole. But goddamn, yeah, that was gnarly, bro. God, it was. I told him about 150 times in I don't know, half hour or so it took us to get that done. That you're lucky I fucking love you, man. Oh God, that was nasty. Yeah, let him know, man. Like there's nobody else I would do this for. You know, there's nobody else I would do this for, man. You're lucky I fucking love you. This is fucking bad. But yeah, he lived on a fairly busy road, and you get a few semis every day. Luckily, it's on a pretty windy part, so they're not going fast. But about, I don't know, 2 miles up the road, there's a nice long straight stretch, and when a deer gets hit there, and they're doing like 70 miles an hour, it just looks like a big red water balloon exploded on the road with parts. There's some parts randomly scattered here and there, but most of it's just a splatter mark. Luckily, I've never been behind a semi when that happened, but I've seen what's left. It's pretty fucking nasty. Yeah. As a kid, me and my buddy are riding our bikes back to his house, and it's like middle of fucking July, and there's a dead woodchuck in the road, and you can see it's bloated. It looks like a balloon. The legs are sticking out, at a weird angle, and it's swollen hard. And he's like, dude, I'm gonna bunny hop the dead woodchuck. I said, dude, you can't fucking bunny hop that high. Like, you could barely get your back tire off the fucking ground. So you're gonna run over it and it's gonna pop. And he's like, no. I'm like, okay, if you're gonna try it, let me get way down the fucking road past this thing between it and your house. He's like, okay. So I went down the road and I turned around. I'm like, all right, go ahead, man. If you're gonna try it, do it. So yeah, just like I said, he got his back tire maybe 3 inches off the road. This thing's at least a foot across, and pow is exactly the noise that it made. And guts went straight across the road, got all up on his foot, the back of his bike. So he's sitting there fucking gagging, trying to get away from his bike, but it's all over your fucking pant leg and foot. So I got a good laugh out of that. And I got to tell him I fucking told you so. But yeah, just stupid shit. Like that. Yeah, you should have known better. Like, you should have fucking known better. It looked like if a fly landed on it, it would pop. Yeah, I mean, they get pretty big here, man. And then it bloats. I've seen some pretty big ones here. They'd be bigger than a foot across if they bloated. I don't know what they eat or if it's some kind of pollutant in the Hudson River, but hell, I bet some of these guys are up around 15 pounds at least. Some of them are bigger than my dog. I know that. Well, yeah, we got a shitload of them. One lives under the garage. There's one that lives under the neighbor's shed, at least one. There's a big hole at the edge of my yard where the neighbor's fence and my yard and the neighbor's yard meet where the fence is. It goes down about 4 feet out from the fence, but it's kind of wooded and weedy in there, so we don't mow that anyway. I don't give a fuck, but I mean, they ain't fucking shit up. I don't have a garden or anything, at least not right now. But we got the woodchucks. We get skunks frequent this area, raccoons, foxes. Haven't seen anything bigger than that around. I've heard coyotes, but I haven't seen a coyote. Maybe once since I've lived here. I have seen a bear not far from here, a couple minutes down the road. There's some of the neighbors say they've seen them in their yard, which I don't doubt, but I haven't. Yeah, I'm like a 5-minute drive from like the center of town. It's kind of an urban, small city. But we get hawks trying to take the fucking birds out of the feeders here. Yeah, I've seen rats run across the street in town. Everybody claims, oh, city rats are big. I've seen New York City rats. They ain't big rats. And what they call the sewer rat is a possum. But if you want to see a big rat, you got to go to a fucking dairy farm or any farm that has grain storage. Those motherfuckers get huge. People, well, not where I live now, but where I moved from was farm country. People would drop off their house cat at a farm, and you would see it dead within the next 24 hours because they got like a fucking 1.5 pound rat. Yeah, nutrias are fucking big, man. Yeah, they're like a muskrat on steroids. We don't have them this far north, at least not that I'm aware of, not yet. But fuck, yeah, those are a big fucking rodent. I have seen mink around here. Martin also, which those guys are cool. I wouldn't want to fucking corner one, but seeing them is cool. You don't get to do that very often. But usually it's crossing the road or running across the yard quick, so it's like you get the glimpse. Yeah, yep. I got to get back into that. I miss creek fishing, man. We got a lot of good creeks. But there was a spot. It wasn't really a good area of the creek for fishing because I never seen anything bigger than like a 6-inch trout in there. And it's fucking like really cold, fast moving. So I mean, the trout would like it, but it's not really that steady. It dwindles to next to nothing in the middle of the summer. But it would flood in the winter, and it would dig out big sections of embankment. So if you didn't pay attention, you could walk out and end up fucking falling 7 feet down to the fucking rocks that didn't get moved by the water. But every year the riverbed would change. There would be a different cool swimming spot in a different part of the creek because it would dig it out real nice and deep, like 7-8 feet, and it was all gravel. But then in the middle of summer, that would probably be the only open water for about, I don't know, 200 yards. It would disappear, and you would walk a dry riverbed and then come on water again when you get downstream. But it's a really cool fucking creek. You can hike a long way, and you end up at the state park, which has some cool waterfalls. But you got to get out of the fucking creek bed if you're still walking. The water flows that far upstream constantly, but they don't like you walking in the water in the state park. They give you shit, which sucks because at the base of one of the waterfalls is a badass spot to swim, but they don't like you jumping off the waterfall either, let alone swimming in the pool at the bottom. But yeah, I live in the Catskills, so there's lots of different, tributaries. You could find a spot to swim in. Maybe you could if I knew who you are. I've never heard of the universe galaxy before. Most callers here, I do know. You're in the minority. You're not most callers. Yeah, it's exactly, Monchichi. Well, I know everyone that comes in here and has a wrench well enough to know that they're not going to do something I'll regret. Bro, this is literally the first time I've ever tried Streamyards, so I'm not trying to do too fucking much. My Neanderthal ass is lucky I can get this far. Well, yeah, porn bomb or dox somebody. I mean, you never really know, but everyone I've given a wrench to, I've been aware of their existence for multiple years. If not what most people would consider friends, but I'm on good terms with all of them. Never seen any shady shit come out of any of the people I've given wrenches to. I mean, there's not a huge audience, but still. Yeah, I don't know. And then you don't even come, you don't even say hello and be like, hi, this is me. This is what I do. Like, eventually I'll learn how to pin the link and then you can just do it. But, I mean, I don't know if you could scroll to the very top, but there is one. I mean, it's easy to bring up a topic in the chat also if you can't get on the panel. Just a thought. Yo, Tupac, what's up, man? What you up to, brother? Yeah, figured. Me too, pretty much. Uh, nice. It's good to be busy. Oh no, what kind of boo boo? Monchichi. Yeah, I got a bunch of yard maintenance to catch up on tomorrow, so I'll be busy tomorrow. There's some kind of flowering vine from the neighbor's yard that is overtaking Alley Cat's lilac bush, so I got to trim that weedy fucking viney thing. And then probably prune some of the lilac back a little. And then we got some sumacs that I need to take out before they become an issue. Mom works up the girls, huh? It's funny the differences in temperament between the boys and the girls. I had she was an American Eskimo and Cocker Spaniel mix, about as big as a Cocker Spaniel. And I had another mutt. I don't know exactly what was in him, but he was about 130 pounds. And when she was a puppy, he was full grown, and he just didn't want to hurt her. You know what I mean? He was so gentle with her, but she took advantage of that as she got bigger. Like every toy became hers. Like frisbees, I would have to like buy a bunch of cheap frisbees so I could throw them all in different directions for her to go chase, so I could get him to to play with one, but she would still end up taking that from him. Yo, Colt 49ers, what's up, bro? But yeah, he was any other dog, he would stand his ground, but she would make him, yield. He dragged her probably 30 feet one day because she bit right down on his fucking lip, between his lip and the frisbee. And he let go of the frisbee, but she didn't let go. And he's yiping and looking at me running across the yard. And she's just holding on, being dragged basically, till he let go. And then she got the frisbee and then put it over in the pile because she would collect them and then bring them all to one spot. But yeah, she was a trip, man. Like, he was a scary dog that was a fucking pushover when this little dog was there. Oh yeah. Mark Anthony. All right, and the kitten. I had to think for a minute. I'm kind of shot. uh, my mother-in-law was just talking about old cartoons like those, like Looney Tunes and stuff, and she's like, "You never see them anymore." I'm like, "Well, you got to pay for a streaming service or a cable channel in order to catch them, or you could probably find them on YouTube somewhere." I said, "But yeah, they don't just show them, anymore. A lot of them people will find offensive." I think those are a lot of the reason our generation don't find so much shit offensive. Yeah, exactly. Offensive is funny. My grandfather used to say, "Well, times like this, you gotta laugh, otherwise you're gonna cry." So people just, I don't know, like society uh, started to prefer crying over laughing, I guess. But Pops was out just for his own amusement, and a lot of times he would end the discussion, "Well, fuck you if you can't take a joke." And yeah, people wouldn't talk to him for a long time or ever. But yeah, he didn't care. Well, it's it's just you got that fucking normally useless little treasure trove of knowledge, and something sparks it. It shit happens to me all the time. But yeah, it's some of that vast accumulated fucking information that comes out just randomly, usually blurted. I do it in conversation. People get annoyed as fuck. My girlfriend gets pissed. What's going on, Colt? How's your Sunday, bud? It is still, yeah. You're a couple hours earlier than me. Yeah, dude. I look like a fucking caveman, but I do real good at that too. Yeah. Um, like if my girlfriend doesn't know something, she's relatively smart now. Like she's a pretty smart person, and she'll come asking me, and then if I don't know, she looks at me like I got two heads. She's like, "How do you not know?" Like, what the fuck do you mean? How do I not know? I don't know everything. She's like, "Well, almost." I'm like, "No, don't even fucking say that." But like, I do have a lot of normally useless information just jammed in there. But yeah, I remember being in high school, and my buddy was dating this girl, and she wanted to meet his friends uh, to see what kind of people that her daughter would be hanging out with. So we all sat on her back fucking porch, screened in porch, playing. It's probably from the Weed Munchichi, playing Trivial Pursuit, and I was getting like questions that even the smart kids in her daughter's friend group couldn't fucking get. And they're like, "How do you know this stuff? How do you know this stuff? Like, don't you skip school a lot?" Like, yeah, I skip school all the fucking time. That don't make me an idiot. You know, the fuck? I learned how to read, and from there you can pretty much learn anything you want. You fucking idiot. Reading and reading comprehension are your friends. But yeah, a lot of shit they didn't expect me to know, and they were just dumbfounded. It was great. Like, yeah, I only look like a fucking idiot. Yeah, I see you, Colt. I asked you how your Sunday was, bud. Hi, Brooklyn. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, people that speak the loudest usually have, yeah. Like, I call myself like a fucking idiot all the time, and my girlfriend's like, "You're not an idiot. Like, I want to make you take an IQ test." I'm like, "Why? You want to get me a state check?" Jesus Christ. If I got a fucking double digit IQ, I'm going to be disappointed. Yes, I hate stupid too. It frustrates me. I have a cousin, and it really hurts me to say this, but like, he's literally the dumbest adult I've ever met. Like, like dumb. Like, like I try not to have any kind of conversation with him that's not like basic, like you would have with a kid. Because my fuck is this guy dumb. It's like I had to stop him from talking one day and tell him, look, if you keep saying shit without thinking it out first or even knowing what to think about in the first place, I'm gonna probably slap you. Like, it's really infuriating talking to you. Yeah. Yeah. Drive around my town, man. Holy shit. I need I need a big fucking uh like deuce and a half. I want a deuce and a half as a daily driver, something that I could hit someone or run over a Prius. But damn, there's a lot of motherfuckers that they drive around like they're the only person on the fucking road. They walk around the store like they're the only person in there shopping. Like, holy shit, man. Like, I got to get stoned before I go to the fucking store. I got to get stoned before I go in the store. And then I got to get stoned again when I come out of the store. It's like, fuck. I shouldn't have to be the only one adjusting my attitude. You motherfuckers need to start looking around when you're driving. Like, I've seen a lot of dumb shit between people walking around with their either head in the clouds or in their phone, like just walk right out into the fucking street while there's cars coming. Like, bro, that's the main street through town, you dumb motherfucker. But then again, some of them might be trying to get hit by a fucking car for the payout. I don't know. There's some sick fucks running around here. Yeah, I've been standing next to a cop smelling the bag of weed in my pocket. Like, I can smell it. You're a fucking 2 feet away from me. I know you can smell it. And then my cousin walks up to me. He was further away. He's like, bro, I can smell that weed from across the store. I'm like, oh shit. He's like, yeah, I'll hold your spot. Go put it somewhere. So I went and I had my girlfriend at the time hold it. But yeah, I'm like, I know he smelled it. I could smell it. You could smell it from fucking 8 feet away. But yeah, that's why I like the fucking pens. The extracts are a lot more discreet. I would have got away with a lot more shit as a kid if we had them when I was, in high school. So yeah, I usually get a vape cartridge and just use the pen. Yeah, me too, really. But it's just Allison doesn't like the smell of it. So like it just makes it everything easier for me. If I smoke, I got to go outside. If I use the pen, I could do it right in the house. She doesn't mind as long as it's not getting blown in her face. And so I got to make sure I blow it away to my right because the ceiling fan will put it right in her fucking uh, right in her face. Oh, dude, I used to get from a guy at work, and he would bring in the weed on Thursday, and we could pay him on Friday, and we were all waiting for him on Thursday, and it ended up he was the boss's fucking brother-in-law, but it gets to be about 10 o'clock, and the boss comes over and to the job site, and he's like, "Well, Matt won't be in, man. He died last night." I'm like, "Oh, what the fuck do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, he had a heart attack." Ah, fuck, dogfights suck. But yeah, I still got a guy, and fuck, I 2 or 3 other people I could call. But yeah, he ended up having a heart attack at the bar. After a Yankees game. Yeah, I would have to go get one first. But I did just notice that about a mile and a half from my house, there's a cigar shop. Yeah, that does suck. The guy that got the weed was his cousin, and that dude was an asshole. He worked with us too, but yeah, he didn't want to come off with it. It was really good pot, and we were getting it from him for a good fucking deal because he ended up getting stuck with a whole bunch of it. But yeah, he had like fucking 10 pounds still when he died. But yeah, he's only 39 years old too. He had a heart problem from birth though, so I think that just caught up to him. But yeah, he was a cool dude, biker dude, all tatted up, looked mean as fuck. When I first started working there, like even the people that knew him for, however long they worked there, wouldn't talk to him. But I would go like, "Hey man, what's up?" And I know he's probably cool as hell, and he was. But yeah, it was horrible, Edie. We ended up taking the rest of the day off. He was super fucking cool. He ended up fighting for like fucking 4 or 5 years to get custody of his kid because all he could get from his ex was supervised visitation and 2 weeks in the summer unsupervised. And the kid was 10 years old when his dad passed, and he only had custody for like a year and a half. So I don't know. I hope the kid went to his parents instead of back to the mom. He had a predilection for strippers and probably like the worst, type of people. So yeah, there ended up being drug addicts or just scumbags in general. He was dating one and she stole his fucking dog, and then a year after she fucking left, she sent him a picture of her and the fucking dog. I'm like, holy shit, dude. He's like, yeah, if I could have found that bitch. But yeah, the kid I got now, he's literally, well, he's not a kid, he's like 30, but He's a kid to me. He's good shit. I haven't probably seen him in 2 years. I seen him the other day at the store. He's like, "Where you been, man?" So I might have to just get someone one of these days just to keep the connection open. But that dude's cool. He's always just a phone call away. Yeah, man. Let me see. If all right, is it pinned? I think it's pinned. I'm not sure, Colt. And then I'll have to figure out how to whatever. But that's what this is for. Yeah, poor bastards, Munchichi. Holy shit. Oh, fuck. Um, God damn it. Let me try to get that link. All right. Um, all right. I thought I put it there. Is it there? Is it usable? I think he said they're trying to get to the Great Dane next door. Ah, cool. Thank you, BB. Fucking Blue said last night that it would be advantageous if I did the StreamYard thing. just in case somebody wanted to come up. He's right here. Somewhere. There he is. It's dark in there. Not that that helps any, but oh, the glare. Where the fuck is he? There he is. Jesus. Too far that way, too far that way, yeah. There he is. Hey, Vex, what's up? Thanks for stopping in. It's good to see you. This is my first Streamyard attempt. Yeah, he ate a while ago, BB, and now he's just being here he comes now. He says my public awaits. I must I must go and show myself. Thanks. Yeah, it's just an Oscar cichlid. Yeah, he's been just chilling lately. I think he really likes the extra flow when I added the fucking canister filter. Yeah, he's got to make an appearance. He's probably looking to see if I threw him a handout. I do need to clean that glass. Where are you going, dude? Yep, disappeared. But yeah, I have multiple fish tanks. I have two in the bedroom here. The 75-gallon with the Oscar, and I got a 40-gallon planted community tank with a whole bunch of different plants in it, house plants growing out of the top. And there's another one downstairs, a 70-gallon corner tank with plants in it and growing out of the top. Just helps keep the water clean. That has angelfish and neon tetras and shit. Yeah, I don't know if Colt tried the link or not, but nothing's popping up telling me to let anyone up, so I'm assuming no. Ah, nice. Yeah, it's hard to say by just the color. It could have been a goldfish. It could have been what in the fuck are those called? They're mistaken for goldfish. They're a type of cichlid quite often. A parrot cichlid, I think. The blood red parrot or the red parrot cichlid. But yeah, either way, it's cool. Goldfish are cool. We had fairfish one year My son was just about a year, I think, or just past a year. I can't remember when the fair was, but we won. I don't know, like fucking 4 or 5 fish at that little game with the ping pong balls and the fish bowls, and so we had a little 10-gallon tank set up for him. I was just gonna get him some neon tetras or something, but we didn't get fish yet, and he got all those from the fair. So we had a tank full of fish named after the Cars movie characters, Mater and Lightning McQueen and whoever else. But those things lived, I don't know, they had them at least 10 or 11 years. They lived a good long time. I don't know what they did with them. They had to break down the tank. They got rid of them to somebody, but they were just fair fish. I never seen one live longer than 3 months. These things lived like over 10 years. It was pretty cool. And they're easy. Yeah, I'm kind of kicking myself in the ass now because I didn't have an interest at that point in a fish tank. And I had a buddy that was getting out of the fish tank hobby, and he was down to one tank, and it was one of his smaller ones, and it was 150 gallons. And he's like, "Hey, man, you want a 150-gallon tank for your snakes?" And he sent me a picture. It had built-in overflows. Like, it was fully set up, the filters, everything. He's like, "You don't need to use the filters. You could probably sell them to somebody. I just need to get it out of here." I'm like, let me make a phone call. All right. Well, I don't know what backstage is. I thought there would be a little icon, Munchiech. You have no fucking idea what I'm doing. Yeah, I have no fucking idea. I have no fucking idea. We'll figure it out at some point, I think. Maybe. Okay. I don't have to do stupid shit to do that. All right. Well, I don't know. He didn't come up and say he was waiting. Okay. See?
Hello. Hello, Mike.
Hi. Went and dined last night, I think.
Yes, I did. That's where we met.
Yep.
Yes, we
Just
did. Yep.
trying to clear the fog.
Yes, exactly. Yep. It was my first time there. Although I've been a subscriber for a while, and I'm not sure where I subscribe. Probably over at Shifts, but
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool place. I like it there.
Mm-hmm.
There's too much of other people shit talking everybody. It's nice to just have fun someplace.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I used to get really overwhelmed by loud music, sudden volume changes and stuff, and I realized after a couple of years of paneling, don't ask me where I've been or what I've done, I mean, you can, but you
Yeah,
can, but we can
no
have other
judgment.
more interesting conversations. Yeah,
We're
but I
all from
learned
the
with them.
trenches around here anyway. We're knee deep
Mm-hmm,
in shit, so we all wanted
yeah,
to get away from all that fucking shit too. So,
yeah. So, yeah, that's where
oh,
I would say, though, I think that this panel experience opened my eyes and ears up to, louder music. Let's just say a function for, I think that part of it has helped me open my eyes to, I can listen to loud things and I can actually enjoy something loud.
yeah. Well, listening to some of
Yeah.
these panels, it sounds like a cafeteria full of kids arguing. It's
Mm-hmm.
just noise. So yeah, I'm sure that helps condition you for you know loud noises and changes and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
Yeah. And
listen
then
to it.
he was it was such an entertaining show that he put on, like not just listening to his heavy metal music, but peppering
Yeah.
it with other sounds and
Yep.
humor
Oh,
and,
yeah. He
really.
throws in a good range of
Mm-hmm.
pop music. Just a little bit of everything, pretty much. I mean, fucking Tiny Tim.
Mm-hmm. I know. So good. I
But
have,
yeah, he does panels once in a while, but he keeps them like sparse, like intermittent, so that
mm,
it's not like someplace people come to just start hashing bullshit out.
yeah, good
And it
idea.
has
Good
devolved
idea.
into that. It has devolved into that, but he kind of cuts it off pretty quick. But it's
Mm-hmm.
usually the panels are good. There's not too many people. They're not arguing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited to be there for more shows and
And
just
he's
excited to like trip up my algorithm, create a different
yeah,
data
yeah,
footprint for myself. So the computer knows what I'm interested in now,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And fucking shit, I forgot what I was about to say.
Are you on a phone or a computer? A phone?
Yeah, I'm on my phone. I got to get a laptop or something, but I could
Well, I was
barely
going to say,
function this thing.
I can say one thing that I learned operating. I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to all of this StreamYard, YouTube, kind of this application of social media stuff in ways that I've utilized the tools in ways that even some people that have streamed for years don't utilize. And I just discovered on the phone, up in your browser, you'll be able to click on the up in the corner of the screen somewhere. Not now, but before you go to your StreamYard, go to your Google and put it in desktop mode. Right? It's in the
Yep.
you put it in desktop mode. Then go into your StreamYard, and you'll find that you'll be able to not only see people behind the scenes, so you don't necessarily need an overlay in case somebody pee bombs or
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
Um, you know, so but desktop mode has so much more. You can share pictures from your phone,
Nice.
PDF files from your phone. You can share videos. Videos that you've downloaded to your phone. You just can't
Cool.
share it. You
Cool.
just can't share your screen. Right?
Yep.
Maybe there's an iPhone out there that allows you to share your screen. I don't know. There might be some phone, but it'll say the button says share screen. But
Yeah.
when you touch it, it gives you a list of things you can do. So, arguably you could, if you had a YouTube premium account, you could upload into your studio, you could upload download music and upload it into the thing and still play and produce, you could have a lot of fun with it, even without a computer.
Yeah,
And
I'll
most
definitely have to
importantly,
play with it.
yeah, most importantly, it allows you to see people's faces behind the scenes. So if I came up as a stranger, you could be like, flash your camera on and off. I won't bring you up. You can always put yourself full screen, but that just gives you a bit more protection than I've been operating through. I just found the desktop mode button. It actually allows you to see. You can watch YouTube in desktop mode. You can go to your studio in desktop mode, and you don't need a computer to see your hide list and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to bore.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't want to bore everyone, but I'd be happy to help you with any of that. Yeah, I'd be happy to help you with any of it.
I do have a tech savvy stepson for the actually fucking around with it. But if I have questions after that, I know who to ask for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and I can not that I'm here like garnering for that, but I'll put it in the back. I don't know if you know. You can highlight on my name anyway, but I don't know if you do that while you're up here.
Yeah,
so
I don't know. I subbed you. I subbed your channel last night at Don's anyway.
Good. And I'm like Don. I have no content up most of the time. I try to leave a post up on my community page so that people can contact me if they want to leave a message or something. But sometimes I leave
just post on the community page and then go live sometimes.
Yeah, but that way you could leave me a note there if you wanted, or again, I'm not trying to be too friendly or whatever, but I also have my handle at my channel is the Bex Factor, and then I have an email, thebexfactor@gmail.com. So I have a Gmail account. It's just the same as my handle exactly. So and I don't have push notifications on my email account, but I do check in on it here and there. So if you
cool.
But again, I'm just happy to help. Yeah, I wanted to pop up.
That was definitely.
Yeah, I wanted to pop up and give you an opportunity. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to pop up and give you the opportunity to play with the features. Like, let me on.
Yeah, cool. I appreciate it.
Mute me, backstage me if you need to. I'm just.
No, you're good. You're good. I need all the help I can get. I still type with my tongue clenched between my teeth and one finger.
I'm a Gen Xer myself, and the last of at least where I lived, I learned on a typewriter. The class behind me learned on a Commodore 64 or whatever, right?
Yeah, I was right in between too. I just didn't have a knack for it. I don't know, but yeah.
Or you didn't have a use for it.
Yeah, maybe. Really, not really. I learned how to swing a hammer. Not much need for typing when you're, hammering nails.
Yeah.
Shit, my 4-year-old showed me how to download the YouTube app.
Good for him. For her.
Yeah, I'm like, Jesus. He's like, what are you trying to do, Dad? I'm trying to get the fucking YouTube app. He's like, oh, you got to go to the store. What store, bro? He's like, on your phone. I'm like, show me. So, yeah, my 4-year-old showed me how to download YouTube to my phone. Hi, Cindy Lopez. Thank you for stopping in, sweetie. It's great to see you as always. But, yeah, that was funny. He just says, oh, Dad, you do it like this.
Nice. That's cool. It's amazing, how tech savvy the kids are. It really is.
I noticed, at least his comprehension as a kid was off the charts too. Like, he picked stuff up really quick. He just got it, I wasn't like that. I don't think his mom was. I don't know where he got it, but I'm thankful he did.
You probably were, though, of a different system.
Yeah.
Just not that system, right? Are you a Gen Xer as well?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I'm 52.
I'm 48.
Yeah, 48. So, we're a very adaptable generation, and in fact, so adaptable. I'm not trying to say, "Oh, look at us." We just seem to be, and every generation could say that. So I don't want to sound smug.
Yeah.
But I do think that we really cusped with that level of technology coming in. And I think sometimes we really chose not to invest in some places.
Yeah, I certainly did for a while. I mean, I had a flip phone for, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 years after smartphones were a thing, they're indestructible. And I could count on that thing not to break. And I never texted. Now I never call.
Mm-hmm.
Now I text everyone. Well, certain people I have to because they won't fucking text. My uncle won't text. But yeah, he's even later than me, so I don't feel so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I had the social media addiction or phone addiction before my social media addiction. I was a bit isolated healing a bad injury from 2018 into 2019 and into September 2019. And so I'd only been back at work about 6 months, and I work in the food service industry. So it was definitely shut down longer. We were a party rental company that I was working for at the time. So I was out of commission for a while, and over that process, you know, I've never been a huge TV watcher or anything, but I really got a phone addiction bad. And when I found live streaming on my channel, man, did I have it bad. I still am quite glued to this device. But I've diversified my portfolio and how I use it.
Yeah,
And,
and that's another thing that you could get hooked on is finding new ways to use it. I mean, because it's ever expanding.
Yeah. Well, and the beauty is, I mean, I remember when we were young, like if you hit the wrong number and made a long distance phone call, you got in trouble, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you know, now and then for a while I was so excited you could call a call center and talk to someone anywhere around the world and find out more about around the world, right? Just to verify if what I've been told was true. Like, oh, you're at 2:00 in the morning in Malta. Is it dark there? You know, like, you know, of course it is dark at 2:00 in the morning in Malta. But still, you know, it's an opportunity to play with someone on the other side of the world, right? Instead of be that cranky person who's like, I can't believe I don't understand what you're saying, right? You know, I was always the one that was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Can we just talk personally for a minute?
I remember
in
the mid-'80s, I ended up calling a Swiss ski resort. I forget the town in Switzerland, but they answered, and it was English. And I started talking to him, and I was at my aunt's house, and she's like, who are you talking to? I'm like, oh, I just dialed a random number. It was like a fucking 15-digit number, but someone picked up. Can you believe that? And it's in Switzerland. She's like, what? I got my ass beat for that. I forget what it cost for that phone call, but it wasn't a cheap phone call.
I know. Now there's like 15 different ways to talk to someone on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Let alone can I just like meet you in text form yesterday and be like, oh, Mike's live. I'll hop up and say hi. I got lots of experience paneling. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I mean, not that I'm saying people that don't hop up, but yeah, it can be very, this early phase panels can have really put people off from the idea of joining a live link. So I got thick skin. I'll take them on. Not you or your chat.
No,
I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah. That's like,
Yeah.
there are people that have tried to really piss me off. And I had to work for a long time to control my anger. So there's nothing anyone on here can say to me. So I just turn it around and make it a joke on them. It's like, there's nothing, you can't, like, so I can't get mad. So, like, if I don't like something, I don't hate watch people. You know what I mean? I never understood that either. Like, why are you watching these people you hate? And
you know what's great? Yeah.
More and more people over time become the same people that they hate. They're the same type of people. You know, they start doing the same shit. And then it's like, well, this person's doing this, I'm going to do it. Well, that makes you no better than that person then, you know? You have no moral high ground anymore. Yeah.
The one thing I would say as somebody who had, let's say, a lot of super fanatics, okay, let's be kind. I'll be kind. And up to the point of within 3 months of having my live stream, I was a bit of a self-made lol cow. I would talk for hours. I mean, I went on live last night to talk for an hour, and I stayed on for 5.5 hours. Like, I can talk. Okay. I'm not ashamed to do that. Tell people my stories, and I didn't know people would be clipping and restreaming and and this cult of culture really, really paid attention to me. And that was the hardest addiction to get over. Was I didn't hate watch, but for a while there, a few of the people that really focused on me, I couldn't stop watching what they were saying about me. And that's the next level is like, I haven't checked on that guy for months, right? Now, that being said, you know, if he's on a live stream, you know, and I happen to pop in there, you know, I may say, and I'll often say kind things still, because most of these people I met, but I will say, oh, I've got my audio turned off for now, right? You know, like, I'm just here in chat, right? And that's more so that person doesn't misbehave and direct their communication towards me, you know, and I don't disrupt the room by being present, you know, and at different times I might have gone in with barf emojis or, you know, so also, but there is, but I never restreamed. it when in the heart of it, when they were all coming at me, you know, I'd hop up. I became one of the best roast comedians you'll ever meet, and so like like just little lore, like the lore that brought us all together was, you know, it's so regional. It's literally so regional that it's only targeted to these 150 people between these 6 channels, you know, or 30 people pretending to be 150, whatever it is, you know. It's fascinating. So I learned to push back against my bullies, which I didn't do in elementary school, you know, and I don't mean to push back and stoop to their level. Although some would say, you know, in that learning, was I very vulgar at times? Did I say things I wish I hadn't said? You know, yeah, but you know, I'm better now. I won't always, but I do get really righteously indignant at times. I think sometimes having the way I've pushed back, you know, and checked myself would say that, you know, I've learned good skills. It's okay to call a bully. You know, it's okay to call someone, you know, just telling you you're fat and they've never even seen your body and you've seen their whole body and they're definitely fatter than you. It's okay to come out and be like, you know what, lady who's shown her body from the waist up. First of all, I think you're beautiful. But secondly, fun fact is you're fatter than me. But first of all is the more important part. Like, you're beautiful. And I do think you're more beautiful than me. And that's not self-deprecating. That's just me being honest, you know? But I'm really happy with the way I look. And so again, it can be really hard to like be like, wait, you're fatter, but I would never call someone fat. You see, I just wouldn't. So, you know, but you called me that. So, you know,
I have walked up to strange people at the bar, other men, and just been like, yo, you're a big fat fuck. Did you know that? You know, but I was a drunk asshole. But like, there's a lot of shit that I did 20 years ago, 25 years ago that I would beat the shit out of somebody for doing in front of me now, you know? So, yeah, I learned to just stay away from shit that isn't good for me. And there's a lot of shit online that isn't good for anybody, and people just eat it. Like, you always see tons of people in there. It's like, God damn, dude, don't you realize how stupid you look?
Yeah.
The people that you're shouting for and supporting are doing the same things that the people they're fucking hating on are doing. Exactly the same fucking things. Like, how do you rectify that with yourself? How do you justify that you're, you know, choosing one asshole over another? It does exactly the same thing, you know, for basically exactly the same reason. And it always ends up being some kind of imagined slight, you know, something minor that they just make into a fucking big problem. Like, I'm not here to argue with other people, you know, or hate on somebody for something. If I don't like what somebody's doing, I'm not going to watch them. I'm not going to interact with them. I'm just going to forget that they even fucking exist. But yeah, people like to just add their 2 cents and then they get emotionally invested in it. And that's the ridiculous part to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really ridiculous. I would say there's a few things going on. People are Stockholmed. I don't mean any disrespect to the real crises that people in Stockholm may have, you know, but that ultimately there's a level of Stockholm effect from quarantine all the way into how these channels behave with one another and how you want to participate and be a part of a group. And I think it's interesting because not only does the content creator indirectly or directly hold the chat in captive, but so does the chat hold the content creator captive, right? So it's both are doing it. Both are, so neither is captive, the captee or captor, you know, both are actually. So the other thing I'd say is with these hobby haters, I like to call them, who've learned to
That's a good
impress each
term.
other. You know, they impress each other with their hatred and their wit. Sometimes they're really funny, actually. It's hard not to laugh at some of the hobby haters.
Yeah.
They're quite witty, but I would say, I mean, sarcasm is the lowest form of wit. It's still wit, though. I would say to them that they actually are people who mostly spent their time let's say they admit they hate society, they hate people, they don't like people, but they've found each other on the internet, right? So, that you have people to hate with is one step above hating alone, and it's not the best form of a communion. But if they can just realize that they hate everybody but their hobby hating friends, then they might start to realize they could find common ground together beyond making other people miserable, making themselves happy at other people's misery, right?
Yeah.
So,
And there's a double-edged sword in that too. Like while I can say I hate people. The majority of people, I don't want to be around most people. I hate being in public and having to shop and be around, dozens of people at a time because just I don't like being around other people. I'm not going to treat them like shit because I don't like them. I don't know them. You know what I mean?
exactly.
I don't have any personal grudge against you. I just don't want to share fucking space. But
yeah.
It's mainly because people are inconsiderate of other people. And then these people that just hate people, it's because they're inconsiderate of other people. And the people that are hating are just as inconsiderate as the next person. They just don't see their own bullshit,
Yeah. I agree. Are you in the States or Canada?
I'm in the States.
Yeah. Sorry if you take that as an insult. Some Americans do.
No, it's fine.
And sorry to drag the Americans. I meant no dragging of the Americans. I would love to be American. But not because I hate being Canadian. I'm just saying that, I live right across from, I live on Vancouver Island, the southern tip of Vancouver Island. So I'm surrounded by where I look out my window, where I look, I see America, right? I see across the ocean.
Yeah.
And I see the United States. So I feel close and protected in the armpit of Washington. It's upside down, I know, but if you look at it, it looks like, where this little crutch stuck up there in the armpit. It's a beautiful place to live.
Yeah,
and,
it is. Oh, yeah.
Well, and if it weren't for, I could talk for at length on almost anything, but I definitely could talk at length on the benefits, the benefits that I've gotten from the pushback on YouTube, right? Especially, why was I stuck in my house? Why aren't I going out every day? And I live in paradise. So I initially went out just to prove to people like I could leave my house. Secondly, I showed them half a block from my house, I'm like on an ocean walkway that, I just live in a beautiful place. And, I can reach out my window and literally touch a tree that is like 5 stories high. So it's taller than the building I live in, and I'm very blessed. So that's just a minor detail. I could also talk about the things about my, the nature of what I've done and where I've been, or not gone, but that I come up with a series on the road in my house, right? I'll show you stuff in my house, right? OTR, let's go, right? But it's been a gift, overall, and the maturation and the true comprehension. I was pretty naive. I projected my good nature onto people. I did. Most people think I speak my mind. I realized I actually kept myself pretty silent. I had a lot of resentments, a lot of anger. That's why I would blow on people. So actually realizing that, I have for instance, my teeth are very flat from grinding my teeth at night. I'm not very close with my family. I visit them once a year at most. And they may think I have a cocaine problem, for instance, right? Like I never thought about what, I don't, but
I see my family so seldom that none of them knew I did have a cocaine problem.
Yeah. Are your teeth still round or flat?
Some of them are relatively flat. I fucked around for about 10 years, and then I almost killed myself and thought at 28 years old that I probably don't want to die doing this. And I was drinking a lot too. The drinking took a little longer to get rid of because I didn't almost kill myself. But a few years later, I gave that up too. But
good for you.
And like addiction is like hereditary, I think, in my family. Like everybody's an alcoholic or a drug addict or in recovery. They used to, now they're not doing it, but they can't be around it either,
Mm-hmm.
I could still be around people. Like I have enough self-control because like I just remember too vividly why I quit, and then I had a kid. So that's all the reason not to try to, I could have just one. Like I know I can't.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I was a lot meaner.
Yeah. I was a lot nicer. I'm still kind. I just have a better understanding of people and their perception. I have a better understanding of close friends and close relatives and, people that I'm pretty quirky and pretty outspoken and clearly was suppressing some parts of myself and yet still making people think I was speaking my mind, such that even when I kept my mouth shut, most people thought I agreed with them because if I was going to contest it, I would have said something. And in essence, that part, just understanding that, sitting at the Christmas table, everybody's being like this, and we're a family of really competitive, really sarcastic, really, really toxic in many ways, right?
Yeah,
but I just realized now that, my siblings going back into their rooms with their mates, and not that they're going to spend all this time talking about me, but just as a metaphor, going back into their room and then whispering their real thoughts to one another, right? YouTube gave me that understanding of how people could perceive me. And even though the hobby haters can make the worst, create the worst picture, there's still some validity, okay? Sometimes there's some validity to how they're seeing you, because there's people like them. I mean, we're in a subset of the population, so I don't want to. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh my gosh, the whole world is like where I hang out on YouTube. Like that would be really unhealthy. I go outside and sit on benches with people and, make sure I remind myself that, not everybody has been brainwashed down some truther trail of nonsense, right?
Yeah.
And then even that, I realized 2.5 years into talking on my channel, if I say that, I don't think people realize I was brainwashed too, right? Like I forget that they may only have come into my life a week ago or a month ago and not realize that I went down all those rabbit holes and I believed a lot of that stuff. And I've come back to center, And so those, as an example, those people might think I'm just been come out to drag them. I'm an agent out to prove that, to get them back on round earth or whatever. Not that was not my area. My purview had nothing to do with the shape of the earth. But alas, I think that but I realized even if I said, oh, hey, I used to believe what you believe too, about whatever, then it's still, then you look like a traitor, right?
Yeah.
Like, I realize that the vocabulary I use alone has some people say, oh, look at this know-it-all showing off, right? It's like, I'm just talking. Right? I'm just a girl talking,
Some people are put off by words that sound like they're like big words. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a lack of comprehension on their part is what it boils down to. They don't know what that word means. Sorry.
Well, and then when they've been taught, and then on top of it, doubling down with the whole English is a spellcasting language, and its nature is to confuse. It's like, what solves the problem of the spellcasting is a dictionary, right? You know, people are like, oh, she's neuro-linguistically program you. It's like, actually,
Oh yeah.
you know, yeah.
Well, they're the programmed ones.
Well, and I don't think people realize that we spellcast on each other all the time, right? We don't mean to, if we're going to call it spellcasting. Like, someone can say to you, I hate you, and it can mean nothing, right? Someone can say it with such vehemence or vitriol, right?
Yep.
With such poison that it can literally hit you and you can move backwards, right? Like, so that being said, it's like someone can say they love you and it can, it can mean nothing, or someone can say they love
Yep.
you and you can be like, cultured up right off the bat.
Yep.
And that's where I would say some of the NLP is simply a lot of us, not knowing enough love in our lives, perhaps, having this feeling we're doing something in a live chat started 5 years ago, and you had this bond of just like, we're all in our houses, we're all trapped in our houses or whatever, and this sense of unity, even the people saying I love you fam, it feels good, right? But you got to keep your, so again, that's the biggest kind of spells we put on each other, is the energies and intentions, and people who virtue signal, in lieu of having real virtuosity, they don't really know the difference, and some of them have learned to mimic that tone very well. So especially some of the virtue signalers are the best at breaking down real virtuosity in chat. But then they hop up on the channel and they're exactly the opposite of what they're typing in chat, right?
Yeah.
It's so strange,
Yep.
So, but it's a beautiful opportunity to see the just the landscape and mosaicism or the diversity amongst the human species, right? Like,
To put it very nicely.
yeah. And
but yeah, it definitely it like distills like the worst parts of people, it seems, and
it really does.
it shows in how they interact with other people on here, and I'm like, I have to wonder, like, do you really act like that? Like, do you act like that when you're like out in public? Like, you overhear a conversation, do you stop and have to put your 2 cents in and tell one of them people that they're wrong? How does that go over in public?
Yeah.
That's probably how we get viral fight videos, I'm thinking, because if you act like that in public, somebody's going to pop you in the mouth eventually.
Yeah. I was trying to think, where would people go? I mean, you could go to a comedy club to heckle, but you couldn't heckle for long or you'd get kicked out.
And
right?
you would be embarrassed fast.
Yeah. I haven't done it for a long time, amateur stand-up comedy. Although I was paid for a couple shows. So once you're paid, you can call yourself a professional, although I wouldn't. And when you tell people on YouTube that one of the things you describe yourself as a comedian, then you've got everyone being like, well, you're not being funny. It's like, well, you think comedians run around the world performing all the time? Like,
actually, a lot of the best comedians, the shit they're saying really isn't funny. It's the truth behind the words that's funny. They're just speaking a truth usually. And the absurdity of the truth sometimes is fucking hilarious.
It is, definitely. Overall, I really enjoy this. I enjoy this experience, although sometimes I think having a heroin addiction might be easier to explain to my family where I've been, right? Like, I'm not.
It's something they would have a better grasp of, probably.
Yeah, especially the all-consuming nature of it at one point, and then now I've been in it so deep for so long. Most of my friends are pixelated, right? Like, most of the people that I talk to in my life are all over the world, and we're close, and they know me better than anyone's ever known me in my entire life, for how much I've talked and listened and where we've been and what we've been through together and in the big group. So I do look, I've been on a trajectory of, finding a good level of how can I take these skills to my real life. Talking to the family, I'm a very effective communicator with many people. The closest relationships are not being tackled yet.
Yeah,
I've discovered, it doesn't translate into the long-term relationships yet, and family and friends. They could only see the person they knew, and probably I'm doing the same, but I know that $10,000, $20,000 worth of therapy would have never got me to mature the way this process has.
Yeah, just after sobering up, like my family splintered in like 1997. My grandfather died, and everybody would come around because of him. Nobody realized that he hated having most of these fuckers around, and it was my grandmother that was planning everything and cooking everything and doing everything that made it happen. And so when he died, people stopped wanting to come around, and so she got upset and got depressed. But everybody kind of like just showed that they really didn't give a fuck about anybody else in the family. And so once I sobered up, and like I said, I had I lived away from everybody. Like I rarely spoke to anyone that I shared a last name with for 3 or 4 years, and nobody knew, that I was doing drugs and fucking just trying to fucking like slowly kill myself. And so when I came back, I was just kicking the alcohol. It was just before I stopped for good, and I I went on one good drunk and ended up in jail, which is why I stopped for good. So everybody just sees that, not that I'm a dad. I've not even spoken to a policeman other than in passing. I've not been arrested. I've not been pulled over. Like I'm stable in every fucking way, but all they see is the drunk asshole. But I look at them through sober eyes, through eyes that kind of want to be forgiving, but they keep showing that they're worse people than I thought before. You know what I mean? So any negative feelings I had towards these certain family members have been only magnified. Like I've seen even worse since. And I'm like, well, you can keep having that opinion of me because it doesn't matter anymore. Like I was gonna try, and then you just showed me why I shouldn't. But I got 3 uncles left. I speak to 2 of them regularly. Maybe 4 out of my 40 cousins, 37, I think I got. I added them all up. I speak to maybe 4 of them. I don't speak to any of I only have, I think, 2 aunts left, but I don't speak to either of those. Like, just, it's better off for me. I don't know what the hell they're doing or if they care or not, but it's definitely better off for me. It's like, it's like if Days of Our Lives met Jerry Springer's and the Trailer Park Boys was a fucking real life like reality show. That's basically my family. A lot of drunken fights at family gatherings. Just ridiculous horse shit,
I do know. Yeah, I've found that at least for now, with some of my family members, respecting my, mother or father, the best way to respect them and myself is the distance. I
Yeah, my
bring out the
parents are
worst in my
dead, so I don't
father.
have to worry about that. But I got 4 brothers and a sister, and only my sister has been to my house. Like I don't want my brothers around. They're thieves basically, and they don't care who they steal from. So, like, I don't need my snowblower to come up missing because my brother stopped by last weekend and happened to see it in my shed.
Yeah.
But that's how they are. So I really can't have them around. and it sucks because they're cool with my kid. You know, they're fun and carefree. But I'm like, dude, you don't know. Like I don't want to be an asshole, but you don't want to be like that. That you know your uncle. Like
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's sad, but it's kind of nice, you know, because they're everyone is drama. You know, all my aunts are always talking about each other. The female cousins are always talking about each other. Now, being in this day and age, all the male cousins gossip worse than the females do, and it's like, God damn, man, I don't know when shit changed, but it ain't good.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
we've
maybe it has
tried.
to get worse before it gets better. Men were
Yeah,
asked
I
for a
mean,
long time. Men were asked for a long time to suppress their emotions,
yep,
which created a level of emotional immaturity to the point of actually revering being rational over understanding that emotions and logic and rationality, they are two systems that when they mature together, right, you can actually have a sharper logic, a better understanding of your emotions and the human experience rather than like I'm going to push my feelings down and think myself out of them. There's a
yep.
real energy behind that's stunting and inappropriate, like we all are
That's
emotional
how I
beings, right?
started. That's
Yeah.
how I started. And like I said, I getting sober, you really have to look at yourself. Honestly, look at yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said before, people have their perception of you, and like you know, your sister and her husband might sneak off into the room, and they're probably not talking about you, but they, you know, they have an opinion, and they
Yeah.
might be like
Yeah.
it's just fucking. I don't know. The more I know about people, generally, the less I want to be around them. And then the
Yeah.
people that I do, like in real life, like I got a lot of really good friends I met in, say, like the last 10 years that I lived here, 11 years. And like we talk through the phone, but we don't ever get a chance to get together because when one person has the opportunity, no one else does. But, yeah, so like even my real life friends are pixelated in the manner of
Mm-hmm.
speaking,
That's exactly. Yep. Exactly. I also realized, as people were saying, like internet friends, quote unquote, and I appreciate that because there can be some
I
really insidious people that actually befriend you just to F you over, right? Like,
Yep.
and I was so vulnerable and so naive when I first started. I'm so lucky that I actually had the wherewithal to know that whatever you're seeing me go through online, I'm only going to double down on your trauma by you contacting me to support me right now. Okay, like that
Mm-hmm.
would I did let a few people in, but I knew how empathetic, how hyper empathy I think is a mental illness. I'm not going to. You want to help me, but we will not help each other. Like so, I'm so grateful that a couple people came in either equally paranoid and messed up, and those two things collided, or actually, more likely, they had nefarious intentions to befriend me in the first place, right? So
Yep.
that alone was just. So my point is, though, the friends that I have made and the things we've been through, it makes me realize, well, I've got girlfriends out there that moved off the island like 15, 16 years ago. We haven't seen each other. We talked on the phone regularly. And yeah, I've had parasocial relationships with people at a distance. I've had a parasocial relationship with my entire family since 1998, right? Like,
Mm.
that's in essence, right? I live afar, you know. And if it wasn't so crazy, the panel aspect of things, I probably could have invited my family to my YouTube channel to get to know me better, you know.
Yep.
But at this stage of the game, like, yeah, no, it's okay.
Yeah, it's probably best
Exactly.
not to.
Exactly. And maybe as I venture into I really love to perform. I love doing comedy. I love joining panels and having conversations. I love watching my brain, participating in my brain's own development. Like, that's just how I approach life. And I didn't realize how naive I was. I really didn't. And even as I learned to mature, at first I thought, these people took a piece of me, I'll never get back, right? And they'll never get back. I really loved being that naive to the world, but it's exactly that naivety that was, and the intuition of me that had me understanding how it just had me like not asking overreacting to people all the time in my life, right? Like
Yep.
blowing on my coworker because I knew you're a fucking psychopath, okay, who's actually as smart as me, and you're literally coming in and saying things to only me and I would say now in YouTube language, I would say to influence me, right? Because you get something from it because that I'm smart enough to trolls exist everywhere. We may not call them that in real life, and I've learned to not scream and yell at that kind of behavior, but also to know that actually I shouldn't say, I've learned to not allow that behavior to put me in a position where my overreaction is going to nullify any discussion of their behavior, and what got me to overreact in the first place, right? So now I can stand on my own ground and look at someone, be indignant if I want to be, choose to say, hey, dude, are you really being like totally psychopathic right now, or is it just me, right? Like, because maybe it's just me, but can I share with you what I think you're doing? I'm just thinking back to different coworkers who they were bored, they don't like their warehouse job, they're actually too smart and undereducated for going to do something else. So they're in a warehouse and choosing to, fuck with the people around them while they're at work to make their job more stimulating, right?
Yep.
And you're like, wow, that's a really shitty way to approach a job. But instead of, being strong enough to call them out, I'd blow one day and then I'd blow on my boss. And trust me, everybody knew I was right. I'd come back to work. So-and-so would be given a week off without pay. I would get a raise, but that all could have been done with a lot less trauma for everyone, just because I don't know how to communicate. So,
yeah, I've busted balls.
Oops. Hello. Mike will either be back shortly. He's back. Yes, welcome back.
I'm back. I fucking hit the wrong thing. But you joke around and pull each other's chain. But yeah, if you fuck with people like to affect their day at work negatively, like you got to go fuck yourself.
Yep. Well, when it finally happened, when I realized how much my boss with no boundaries was being taken advantage for her good nature, because her parents bought her job, her and her brother, their jobs at 16, right? I'm just saying they'd worked and taken over the family business, not normal in our lives, but they had developed in this job place. So I remember at the end saying to my boss, you probably have never even fired anyone, have you? Right? And I ran off. And when I came back, she sat down with me and she's like, you're right. I've never fired someone. I'm like, that's crazy. Right? So I said to her, I'll be your firing manager. And she's like, is that a thing? I'm like, we can make it a thing, right? We can make it a thing. Mm-hmm. I can do nothing but fire people for you if you want to, right? I know it's not going to feel good, but you need to learn to take care of, because my mental unwellness, if we'll call it that, is to people please, right? And to just pick up the slack and to just work hard and try not to begrudge my coworkers. I run a tight ship, though. I'll tell you how to do it to make it fastest for you, fastest for the customer, and I have a really efficient system. So if I'm the manager, I'm like shape up or ship out. But so that translates as a coworker. I learned to shut up. I did learn to not tell other people what to do, but now I'm working twice as hard because you decided to let this guy who just came out of the, mental health institution with a psychopathic diagnosis, and he told you that, right? He told you that. You said having trouble finding, right? You hire him.
and had exactly all that same shit. Like, they'll give the laziest person that can network the best. Like, they hired a kid. He was there for 3 months, and he knew everybody in the store. I was there for a year and a half, and I barely knew the motherfuckers I worked with, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm from construction, so I stayed busy. It was a wintertime job. Construction was slow, so I took the warehouse job. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, no. How do you keep these people hired, and then you promote the motherfucker? You give them a management position, a low-level management position, but still a job of authority over people that have been doing this longer than I have, and they're better qualified, and they were up for it. Why would you pick the new kid? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
The corporations just don't seem to mind the turnover. Like, they don't mind having to hire new people and train them every fucking, 6 months. Yo, what's up, USA all day? Thanks for coming in, buddy. It's crazy, though. It's like there are people that have worked there and put up with that shit for like 25 years, and then they can't keep some people there for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
They just know how to treat hardworking people, and then the people that have been there the whole time, they found their comfortable way to coast.
Yeah.
Do just enough not to get fired. And I'm like, motherfucker, I just can't. I have to stay busy. I have to stay moving. I can't just.
So it is so typical of our generation. Like, it's very typical Gen X, especially Gen X male. But to value to a lot of our self-worth is tied up in our productivity at work.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And we feel really good and really proud at the end of a hard day's work.
My favorite thing became when the manager would come out and start bitching about the production numbers, and then his supervisor would be there listening, and then I would call him out on why aren't you making these motherfuckers work? You know what I mean? So I would basically do his job back at him the way he was supposed to do it in front of his boss. And then it got to the point where he wouldn't have me around when his higher ups were around because I kept calling him out on his shit, And I had a valid point. It's like, dude, I'm literally busting my ass and I'm watching 5 people looking at fucking either Netflix on their phone or on a video call with their boyfriend or girlfriend. They're just standing there literally doing nothing.
I tried hard. See, in our warehouse, our bosses allowed us to work in a party rental company, and our bosses would allow us to have earphones in or earphone in, listening to a podcast, right? No live chat interactions. But we could, listen to stuff all day if you wanted.
Yeah.
And that was nice. But I did actually learn, I tried really hard to take a page from their book more than force my book on them. Some of these kids nowadays, a lot of them are taking on, not the ones I was working at the warehouse with, but they're facing bigger debt to income ratios than any generation ever, and they do not give a fuck, right? Like, they just do it, and I think the kids in the warehouses, and I don't mean to call them kids, the younger adults in the warehouse that I worked at, they had a bigger chip on their shoulder because they don't have access to that debt, right? Because of their income. And so but all of them so you can't pay them, at least maybe the ones that are at, say these tech jobs where they're driving Hummers and buying expensive homes and going to be in debt for 50 years. Maybe they have a slightly better attitude, but I know the young people I worked with, you actually couldn't light a fire under their ass with any wage or any incentive, right?
I've worked with kids that were literally friends with my youngest stepson, who now is like 22, I think. But when he graduated high school and I went to his graduation, I literally went to the graduation of 6 people that I worked with. Yeah. They were part-time, but half of them were some of the hardest working people I worked with. I was like fucking astonished. Nice. The one kid was 2 years older, but I met his mother and I shook her hand. I said, thank you and your husband both for raising a good fucking kid. I said, people his age don't have a work ethic. usually. I said, there are people that are between his age and mine that have none, that I can look at 4 of them right now. And then there's the high school age kids. There were 3 of them that just busted their ass and knew their job and were nose to the grindstone. The rest of them were not, but they were shining examples that even some kids, do have a work ethic. And then you find out that all of their parents do, like, the one kid, his dad was a mechanic, a body man. The one girl, her dad was a landscaper. So that's what her alternative was for an after school job, was working the warehouse job or landscaping with him. But they're hard workers. And I was appreciative, and I let them know that I was appreciative. But there was like 5 or 6 of them, and I even still talk to a couple of them. Some people look at us weird. I'm almost 50 years old, and I'm talking to these 22, 25-year-old kids like they're my best friend, because, they're good friends. You know what I mean? So if I see them, and so it's just funny. And I'd like to tell people, too, that you can't just judge people by only what you've experienced. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And it makes me think, too, because I know I was, in my warehouse. The warehouse I worked in was a party rental company. It's dishwashing and putting big, heavy loads of dishes together. And most of the young people I would have worked with, they haven't been to a lot of weddings or funerals or celebrations, which these dishes are for, right? Like, they don't really realize, like, don't leave the steak knives out. Like, this is someone's wedding in the middle of a field somewhere, right? Like, we have to give them all their dishes, right? So I was just thinking, I was going to say it actually in a sort of praiseful way, that these kids, you couldn't light a fire under their ass. And I actually, one of the hardest things I ever tried to do was to work like them with no resentment. So to go in the bathroom with my phone, I could only spend maybe 20 minutes. Let's say I couldn't do the half-hour fake shit or whatever, But I tried. I tried so hard. I joined them in the shed to smoke a quick joint, because our bosses didn't care about that. But I'm like, okay, I'll go smoke a joint with them. Like, I tried to slow down. I really tried to slow down. And
I got madder when I tried to slow down and work at everyone else's pace. Like, I'm like, oh my God, you guys really? This is what you consider an effort? Fuck
maybe,
me. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
God
maybe
damn,
some
dude.
of this. Maybe some of this, the hardworking ones in your warehouse probably was a construction warehouse, right, of some sort. Like, I just mean, it had something.
Yeah, it was all. Actually, it was like just shipping out, like basically stocking Walmarts. So
that's cool.
Motor oil, toys, bicycles, literally everything, food.
Yeah. I wonder if, like, just the nature of the diversity of the warehouse you were in, and the idea that there could be a step away from it to do something different, like whether it's drive truck or maybe it's the sheer nature of the work and what the product you're shipping around your warehouse that might incentivize some of them to, not just their parents have done a good job, but they can see where they'll go from here. Like, at the job that I had, there's really nowhere to go. Right? Any kid there, there's nowhere to go. There's no up in the business, and you're not getting a skill that you might be able to dishwash in a restaurant. Well, you didn't need to work in a party rental company washing literally 15,000 plates a day, or whatever, to have this. So I think maybe just that the nature of the job alone didn't incentivize the younger people to, like, even give a crap, because there's just nothing to learn or go from there.
Yeah, it's funny. The ones that took the few opportunities for advancement that there were never the hardworking ones. It's like the hardworking people did not want to stay working for a company where they didn't feel valued. You know what I mean? So they weren't planning on being around to take advantage of any upward mobility, because it was like a placeholder. Literally all the hardworking people I met there were gone by the time I was. And then I left. I was angry as a motherfucker, because there was no hardworking people left there but me. So I was like, fuck. I was screaming at the fucking manager, the supervisor, like, give me some fucking help, dude. Like, God damn it. but he didn't like
I
that.
understand that.
I'm
Yeah.
a big
Yeah,
ugly
that's the
dude,
other
so
thing.
I
I
guess
mean,
it could be scary.
yeah, Gen X, I would say again, I don't mean to typify what this is. We're speaking I'm actually the first person to be telling people, don't paint with the broad brush, don't paint with the broad brush. I don't know, but here I go. Yeah, definitely. One thing I'd say is that, in addition to that work ethic and that a lot of us have, we also are willing to, blow, let's say, when need
Yeah.
be, right? Not
Yeah.
all, but maybe. But speaking of blowing, I need to blow in the wind and make like a whatever. I was trying to come up with some fancy, funny little quirk there,
Something
but
clever. Cool.
yeah,
I
something clever. I
appreciate you
do. I
coming
need to
up,
fly.
bud.
Like, thank you so much for having me, and I'm glad I could participate in your first Streamyard. I
Well, it
look
was
forward
very
to seeing you.
informative too, so I appreciate that as well.
Yeah, no problem. Feel free to pop. I'll pop in again. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave any comments on my channel, and I'll pop over or whatever.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for having me up, and shout out to your chat. And really nice meeting you. And I'll see you again soon.
Yep.
Bye for now.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
Well, that went off without a hitch for the most part. I think I could figure this out. I could probably do this again sometime. Yeah, I know. I got to get you more of those frozen shrimp. That's what you're missing, huh? Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Somebody else tried to get up, but I didn't know who they were. Then they said they were Peter Griffin, and their son was Eric Cartman. And then he, all caps, told me, "Let me up." So I'm like, "Nah, you're good. You can go fuck yourself." Should get you some sinking food, probably. Maybe something to chase. Some bitch. Oh, joy. Yeah, I scraped off all the shit you didn't eat off the surface, bud. They probably just spit out one of these river shrimp. Let's see. Yeah, you'll look at it and then you won't go for it. Oh, the fish's name is Pigpen because he looks like, well, not looks like, but when he eats, he is surrounded in a cloud of the food usually. And it reminded me of the Charlie Brown character that is always walking around in a cloud of dust. But yeah, Pigpen. Yeah, I got lucky. He kept so much color. I thought he was gonna get dull on me, but the orange in the tail came out as he got bigger, and the the orange in his body just kind of fattened out. But yeah, I love him. He's a good fish. For the most part, he gets moody sometimes, but that kind of signals me to check to see how clean the water is. If the ammonia or nitrates and shit is getting high, then I'll clean the filters and change the water out some. But I got a schedule that I do it on, but sometimes I think maybe he might poop a little bit more. Yeah, I love the pattern. The contrast is always nice. Yep. Turned his nose up at the river shrimp. Yeah, yeah. Like he'll grab the roots of this pothos here that I have just growing in the middle of a piece of pool noodle. He'll pull that out into the middle of the tank. I'll find it laying in the water in the morning sometimes. This thing, the lucky bamboo back there, I've seen that like tipped, like he must have been like headbutting it or something, trying to push it over. But yeah, he tries to rearrange his environment. Like there's a hole there that he basically dug out with his fins. I don't know if he sees his reflection over there and tries to fight with it, but yeah, I gotta move those rocks just in case he is in a fighting mood, so he doesn't hurt himself. That one and this one here. Still want him to catch an edge, cut himself or something, fuck his eye up. That's the main thing I'm worried about. Him damaging one of his eyes on an edge. I might replace them. I have a bucket full of rounded rocks. That would be a lot more easy on him if he did bump it hard. No sharp edges. Like that white one right there that you can see. But yeah, I'm still looking for a tank big enough that I can put a couple of those fish in. I don't want to overcrowd him. This is bare minimum bare minimum tank size to keep one. So even though I get like 100-gallon and I can only still keep one, I'll just keep him. But I do have other fish tanks too. This guy is the only one that I gotta keep. Well, he's not by himself. Really can't see them. I don't know if the flashlight would work, but I do have 3 catfish in here with them that kind of clean up his food. They don't do really that good of a job, but they do good enough. I don't ever have to really throw them any food. I do like once a week. I'll throw some bottom feeder catfish pellets, they call them, or shrimp pellets. But I do have this one. It's 40 gallons. I can't remember all the different aquatic plants that are in it. But I have a bunch of different plants, cuttings of house plants, a bunch of house plants growing out of the top on, little homemade planters like that thing. But they help keep the water clean. I gotta still do better lights on this. It's still really only half done, but I got kind of complacent. He doesn't need a lot of decoration inside, but I'd like to put more light. So this side's not so dark. because he likes to hide over here on the back side of the planter, and you can't really see him. You shine light, you can see the orange kind of reflect, but yeah. And if he's turned with his back to you over there at certain times, you can't see him at all, and then he'll just kind of do a quarter turn, and it's like, holy shit, you were right in front of my face. But yeah, I think he would be happy if I got him a tank mate. I'd like to get either they call it a lemon Oscar. They're yellow with black edges on the fins, I believe, or an all black one would be cool. But I would be just as happy with another one like him, or an albino one. I could get an albino one. But there's a bunch of different kinds if you want to order it from like a fish breeder. But as far as PetSmart, where I got him, which is the only place locally I've found an Oscar, they have ones like him, some that are dark with minimal orange, which might turn all black, but I don't know if they will, or the orange will, broaden out like his did. But either way, just one more, somebody for him to fuck with. But I'd like to get a 125 at least before I get another one. But yeah, I try to keep them clean. I basically built the filter for shit, probably $60, maybe a little bit less. But that's just a couple of ice cream tubs. That's a 3-foot long window box planter that didn't have any drainage holes in the bottom. The plumbing, it's just PVC to drain into the fish tank, and the pumps were like $22 a piece. I'm gonna be getting just one big one so I can take the 2 of those out and use them for other stuff. One just for circulating the water so I can disconnect this canister filter. Because snails get in there and you can hear them in the impeller. So instead of just hearing water flow, you hear for 10 or 15 minutes. It gets annoying. Will be good. Uneaten shrimp. You're such a picky little shit. You're not supposed to be a picky fish. You're just not. I got to get you more mealworms. These are all like broken ones at the bottom now. Crumb ones I'll have to feed the smaller fish. See if he wants some mealworms. He didn't want shrimp. Fuck. Yeah, we're looking at you, dude. See if we can show how he kind of disappears. Oh, now you're going to back up. What a dick. Shit. Got a little greedy, fucker. Okay, I'm back. Son of a bitch. Yeah, we'll only be fucking with you for another 15 minutes or so. They can. Yeah, what's up, buddy? Ready for my close up? You done with your close up? You don't want them either? Oh, catfishers. They're out from under the rocks, you know. You under a different rock? That's weird. You're not usually under a different rock. Maybe two would be under that. Maybe I got two under this rock. Maybe they're making baby catfish. Actually, might try to hatch them. All right, they just dumped it. Four people, Kid Cam. Yeah, now we can see how he just kind of disappears. Like, cover up that fucking. Maybe it's really tough to see him. It's weird. Since he blended in so good, but he does. There's really not a lot to hide behind, but it is dark. Need to get another a light or a strip. The plants could use better light too. You're looking at me like I lost my mind. It's nearly gone. Nearly invisible. Well, I'm about to wrap this up, fuckers. I've got to head out in about 7 minutes, or at least get ready to head out in 7 minutes. But thank you all for coming in for my first Streamyard attempt. Maybe might try it again tomorrow. I don't know. But if not tomorrow, soon. But like I said, I thank you. Pigpen thanks you. Catch you all later, fuckers.